Because this big deception, training the vast and overwhelming majority of people to consider themselves a minority, is psychological warfare. It's to make the majority feel minuscule in terms of numbers. So repeat after me. The black, brown, red, and yellow people on this planet are the overwhelming majority people on planet Earth. Fine, class. The second gigantic lie is that something is wrong with the genetics of black people. 21 years ago, I debated Dr. William Shockley, the Nobel Prize laureate. He was then a professor at Stanford University. And those of you who are old enough like me remember he was going around talking about black genetic inferiority and that black people should have themselves sterilized so that they will not keep on polluting the planet with our degraded genetic material. 21 years later, we have Dr. Charles Murray and the late Richard Herrenstein singing the same song. In fact, there has never been a period, certainly for the people in this area of the world, the black people, there has never been a point at which people who classify themselves as white did not think that they were genetically superior to people whose skins were black. My grandfather, Dr. Henry Clay Cress, who died in 1909. A short time ago, I had an opportunity to see some papers that were in an old trunk. And my grandfather had written, I never knew him in person. I only knew my grandmother used to say, your grandfather was a race man. That meant that he considered his identification with other black people to be a priority. But my grandfather had written, how dare anyone think they are superior based on their skin being white. Do you see, but this hype about black people being genetically inferior is a denial of reality and a projection. As a psychiatrist, this is what I mean, and I said this last week in the debate, that anybody who goes around saying, I'm superior, hey, did you hear? I'm superior. That person is not really feeling superior. I said superiority always speaks for itself. You never have to wave a banner. But in my attempt to understand what racism is all about, because I wanted to be a good psychiatric physician to black people primarily, because they didn't have all of the psychiatric physicians that they needed. And when I took histories on black patients and found that their problems, whether it was drugs or alcohol or depression or psychosis, was stemming from confrontation with this horrible, destructive force in the environment that we call racism, I said, I got to understand what that really is all about. And so looking at this fact that, wait a minute, these people who put this big lie out that they're the majority are really the minority. And the second big lie that something was wrong with our genetics, but in reality, white skin, This is not Cress Welsing's genetics that I cooked up in my apartment. Skin whiteness is defined by white people themselves, but when they were talking about a white mouse or a white bunny rabbit, not themselves, that this is a genetic deficiency state. It is albinism. It is genetic recessive as opposed to being genetically dominant. So I put those two things together and said, I've got it. This is what racism is really all about. This tiny minority of people whose own scientists have said that white is a genetic deficiency state, and it is recessive, figured out after they ended up circumnavigating the globe. People of color had circumnavigated the globe long before that. But people whose skins were white did not circumnavigate the globe until starting in the 15th century. And when they found out that everybody on the planet was colored, every place they stopped, every place those boats crash landed, it was some more colored people. And the colored people were receptive, kind, and fed these strangers. And they even allowed themselves to have sexual intercourse with the strangers. And the strangers found out, if they waited 9 months, that all of the children ended up looking like the colored mothers. And so they decided, we have a color problem. They didn't have to have a big genetics conference. They didn't even have the formal science of genetics at that point. But they found out that black plus white equals colored. Brown plus white equals colored. So-called red plus white equals colored. Yellow plus white equals colored. And it didn't take high-level intelligence, really, to conclude, what if these men of color got in boats and started going in the other direction? And they landed. And the ladies said their ideal mate was tall, dark, and handsome. They realized that white could disappear. Are you with me? Now, we have been miscegenated out of our minds and brainwashed out of our minds so that we have been sent on a course to try to make black disappear. Is that right? I talked to somebody recently from the continent of Africa, and they said, Dr. Welsing, everybody that I met said, when you go back, will you send me some bleaching cream? That's right. That's right. Why am I so black? But this is simply brainwashing. You see, but the people whose skins were white, and when I was busy decoding racism 25 years ago, one of the things that occurred to me, in addition to the fact of white minority status and white genetic recessive status, was that while we were busy being told The blacker you are, the uglier you are. And if you're black, stay back. And if you're brown, what? Stick around. And if you're yellow, you're mellow. And if you're white, you're all right. See, the black people in London know this, all over the whole world where they're colored people, where there has been a confrontation with whites, or whites have confronted the colored people in that area of the world. They have taught the people, the more color you have, the uglier you are, and get in the back of the line. Because that was the most powerful genetic status. And therefore, the more color you could create with your genetics, the greater the threat you were to white genetic survival. And this is why if you go to the prisons today, will you see black people at the lighter end of the spectrum or at the darker end of the spectrum? Class, what do you see? At the darker end of the spectrum. Now, under white supremacy, we will just learn, well, that's because they're black and bad. No. It's because that quantity of the production of melanin at the genetic level is perceived by the white collective as being the greatest threat. That's why it was easier to let Cubans come in than Haitians. But while we were being taught all this negative about color, and this is one thing that I looked at, gosh, they talk negatively about color, but in the summer and in the winter, tanning is gotta be tan. Gotta go to the suntan parlor, even when it's snow on the ground. A white student told me, I believe it was at George Washington or Georgetown University some time ago, and I was talking to these white students about racism, and the white student said, Dr. Welsing, did you know that we compete in the summer to see who can get the darkest? See, we didn't know that on our side of the track, right? It's like when I went to college, I went to Antioch College, and in those ancient days, 1951, integration was one black girl and one black boy per class. And here I was from the ghetto, from the south side of Chicago. I saw all these white people the first spring. I was coming back from lunch, and all these bodies with clothes off, not completely naked. But there they were with their clothes off, and I was still shivering. Maybe it was April. And I hadn't seen this before. And I actually stood there, what are they doing? I realized that they were tanning. Do you see, the first time the sun comes out and gets a little bit warm,